sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And so what are you doing in your life to throw yourself off? And these kinds of things that we're doing here in these classes are really to help you get back on track, because we all have off days. Just don't let them go into the next hour or the next day or the next month, because we really have no idea how long we're going to be here. So if we could have it your way, what would that look like? What would it sound like? What would it feel like? And please share with us, because we want to be a part of your success.
I will say it's interesting. It just reminded me about, oh, it was probably been 30 years ago, a little more than that. I was in college and there was a guy by the name of Dennis Deaton, and he came through and he gave a lecture, and he described this very process that you're talking about. And I bought the cassette series and I have it still as cassettes, and he called it visioneering. I thought that was interesting, visioneering. And it was exactly the same thing 30 years ago, talking about envisioning doing something or being something or having something. And the more senses we can involve in that envisioneering, the more likely that it's going to happen, because the brain doesn't know the difference, right? And so I thought that was a fascinating thing. I just finished the book, Atomic Habits, fascinating book, folds in a lot with some of this, right? But I think the combination of that and then going through this journal, I guess the other thing that I've learned, it's reinforcing to me the need to track, the need to track. That I find that when I actually specify what I want to track and then track it every day, that my behavior improves. I become more consistent. And I don't worry so much about wanting to see the results right away. I just worry about tracking, being consistent, and trusting in the process that in time, I'll see the compound effect that I'll enjoy.
To go back to what you said, Blaine, I want to show a little video, and then we'll move on to some other content. I'm a big fan of football. And so I was watching this game, which was kind of an irrelevant game, but what was so interesting is this kid ended up starting for a football team. And I'm going to make sure, let's see if you can hear this. At the end of the football game, which he won, this kid was interviewed, and he basically was undrafted. And for those of you in India, NFL is American football, and it's very difficult to play. It's very difficult to get in the game. And it's incredibly difficult to start because there's college and there's drafts and there's all these rules around it. So for someone that was undrafted and didn't actually get selected, it's almost an impossible situation to start, and much less win a game. And I want to show you this interview because it's very interesting what he said, and I want you to listen for the exact words, because I think it relates exactly to what we are doing when we're manifesting things.
To say, and when you were at Old Dominion, you were taking math classes. I mean, did you ever think to yourself that you would be leading a game-winning drive here on Thursday Night Football in prime time, or playing against Tom Brady in the playoffs for that matter as well?
No, I never thought it was going to happen, but every night when I went to bed, I dreamt of it. Just knowing that if I had the opportunity in my mind, I was successful in those dreams. I was successful when I was thinking about it. So, when the time came, it wasn't new to me. So, again, I'm just happy to be here, happy to play football again, and happy to get a win.
Tyler, you go ahead.
So what he said was, he said, well, you're a rookie, you're new. Like, how did you end up starting in this football game? And he goes, well, I've been dreaming about this since I was 12. So when I got the opportunity, quote, it wasn't new to me. So think about that. So whether he went through this course and visualized it, or he's dreaming about it when he's 15 years old, he goes, it wasn't new to me. I was very comfortable because I've seen it before. And he said, like, look, this wasn't new to me, man. Like, you act like this is a big deal. I've been thinking about this for 15 years. This wasn't new to me. When I got the opportunity, I jumped in. I've been here before. So what we're doing in this 6-minute, 10-minute meditation is we're making it not new for you. So when you walk in the house of your dreams, it's not new. when you see $100,000 in your bank account, it's not new. You've been here before. It's comfortable. And so the idea of, and I hate to use the word energy because I'm so not like new age foofy, but Pooja and Stephanie are a little more foofy than me. But it's energy, and then when you feel it, it doesn't feel new. So Stephanie, I'll hand it back to you. Like, what is that about seeing it, feeling it, not being new that makes it so much more obtainable rather than just like affirmations, which we don't really do affirmations, we do future pacing.
Well, I'll take it to the quote that energy flows where attention goes, and our attention is our most valuable asset, really, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And if you've noticed, we're inundated by negativity. You can't turn on the car, you can't drive down the road, you can't have a conversation without negativity interfering, that static interfering with your day somehow, some way. And so I was in the gym a couple of weeks ago, and my trainer was walking backwards, and he tripped over something that was in the little CrossFit gym, and he said, this is why we do what we do. We do off balance training so that when something has the ability to throw us off, that we are strong and we can bounce back. And so that really has to do with why we're setting our conscious attention to what we want and why we want it and making it bigger and brighter is because we're doing off balance training so that when life does throw us off, when somebody does pull in front of me, I don't give them the middle finger, I give them the two fingers because they obviously need a little bit extra love for their day. And I'm having such a great day that it's a choice to me. I have trained my mind so well that instead of responding with road rage, I respond with compassion. I have such a command over my own imagination that I get thrown off very little in life. And when I notice I get thrown off, I can put myself back in a resourceful state. So that's the other thing that I want you guys to remember is to put yourself in the resource state before you do the work. If this work is daunting to you, you're doing something wrong. Okay. You need to do some jumping jacks or go out and take a walk or find your favorite beverage or do something that puts you in an optimal state before you do the work. Because if you're reading it like this and I have all that I really want in life, it's incongruent. So we want to be congruent. And how do we be congruent? We have to make sure that we know what we want and that we're doing something every single day that is putting those deposits into the person that we want to become. And if we know that we are transforming our identity, we are butterflies, there is a metamorphosis through this energetic process. Like it or not, I mean, it's all energy, right? The ether, there is more invisible energy in this world than there is material. So if you are not in mastery of your own energetic field, then you are going to continue to be a victim of your circumstance and you're going to blame others.
Raise your hand if you could find and read your mission statement in the next 60 seconds. Awesome. So you should, like, one of the exercises in the journal is to read your mission statement. So raise your hand again if you could find it in 60 seconds and read it. Rakesh, I don't see your hand. Vesta's disappeared. Namrata,
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Shalini, can you find it? Awesome. Dr. Shalini, read your mission statement real quick for us, and then I'll have Josephine read hers. You have to unmute yourself. Or she could just walk away, whichever you want. It's up to you. We're perfectly happy you being in control of your life. Josephine, tell us your mission statement.
My mission is to stay in a state of purpose while living with freedom, prosperity, and awareness.
Awesome. And when you say it, does that jazz you? Does it make you feel happy to be alive?
Jazz, it has kept me in a state of purpose so I don't slide here and there. What Stephanie just said is so in alignment with what I just experienced, even coming on this call. So there's 3 of us that didn't get the link, and I was messaging them, this is our time, Prac, do what you got to do. I walked outside, I picked up some packages. The little clinger didn't push the numbers in. I'm like, no, it's not going to get me. It was testing. I use a different metaphor. I say, oh, the angels are testing, because we have to have some kind of resilience to be able to manifest the life that we want. It is that. So all those disturbances actually are our treasures. And so all of this practice has gotten me, even though I've already done those kind of practices, it got me more aware of who I am. Wow. Just in love with myself, which I was giving love to others. I am so in love with myself. I am so in love with what matters to me first. Like, I have my son who's doing this project, and it's everything you have shared in this program, I'm sharing with Jonathan. So it's not about the Eagle Project. It's actually how he communicated with the people that donated the wood, how his reaction was. I mean, you should have seen the kid on the phone. He's like, oh, this is taking hours. And I was like, Jonathan, this is part of the project. It was just like, and that's what makes me shine even more in my nonprofit and my work. So yeah, this keeping measurable results is something I haven't done. So my mission statement has kept me on purpose.
So restating your mission every day has been very useful for you, is what you're saying. It's kind of kept you on track.
Totally. It keeps me totally aligned with what my purpose is. And also, there's some things that have come up, like where I'm accountable and responsible that I have not been doing in my nonprofit. I'm like, so I'm just with it. I don't allow it to sink me, but like as Stephanie says, just looking at it, what needs to be done in this area. Staying though in the happy zone for me is important. So I do that with my things that touch my heart, which is Jonathan, my daughter's getting married, all these wonderful things keep me in alignment with my vision. I mean, yeah, it's great. I like it. Thanks.
Dr. Shalini, you wanted to share your mission statement.
Yeah. So my statement was that I like to empower people by clearing their path to inner abundance while living in a constant state of high self-worth and inner freedom.
And have you been reading that every day, and how does that feel?
I feel really very, very good. I can't exactly tell you, but it aligns me with my goals, every day. I never knew this path, these kind of meditations and these kind of mission statements. I have done mission statement earlier, but not the way we have done it here. It's so much goes with my inner being. This is who I am.
So one thing you might notice is we've never talked about goals in this program. And this could be called the manifestation course, of course, if we're a little bit more new agey and a little more patchouli, a little bit more hippie. But we've never talked about goal setting, because that's step 2. Step 2 is, what do you want specifically? How do you get it? There's a certain process for that. But right now we're just directing the plane, and we're going in the direction of what you want. And so what's going to happen is you will obviously get whatever you want. But right now we want to get the values and the direction and the emotions and the state of mind all in the direction which makes you deeply fulfilled. And so as you move in this direction, you'll pick up things and manifest things, and all of a sudden you'll have everything you want. But most people start with goals and they don't get the values correct. Then they get what they want and they're not happy.
The alignment that they're missing.
I agree with
the
you.
Alignment. Stephanie, go ahead. You were explaining alignment, and this is important because we're not doing affirmations, we're not doing goals, but you will get all the goals you want, all the stuff you want, and all the affirmations, but this process is different, and that's why it's working. Stephanie, do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, just that, goals are kind of easy to get. The real trick is being happy with what you have. And so if you don't know what you value, you're going to continue on the rat race, and you're going to get another degree, and you're going to get more money, and you're going to go on that vacation. But then at the end of it, you're like, damn, that still didn't get me where I really wanted to go. So if we can get aligned with our true values, go deeper, and unravel, or what do they call it, peeling the onion. If you can peel your own onion right back and find out what's deep inside of me, instead of all of the expectations that our families and our friends and the schools, and there's so many expectations that we are inundated by, that may or may not be aligned with who we really are. So I know Bart again says he's not like the energy type, but soul searching, like what are you here for? Those are the kinds of things that drive me, is I really want to know what is my purpose here in life, and why is that my purpose in life, and how can I fulfill that purpose in life. And also, I love the finer things in life. I love going to Hawaii. I love big fancy jewelry. I like all of those things, but all of those things within themselves don't bring me joy. They just bring me material that I'm going to have to leave behind at some point. But my true legacy is how I've come to contribute to this world. And the more that I find out what my own soul's purpose is and what I value most, then decisions become so much easier. And then, like I said earlier, the negativity is just a test, like Josephine said. I laugh at it. Okay, haha, that's a test, but you're not going to get me this time.
Yeah.
So alignment.
So raise your hand if you were able to, if you got the email and you downloaded the template for the meditation. Raise your hand so that you've made some progress on it. Rakesh, okay, good. Namrata, Charles, not good. Okay, so let's double check to make sure everybody's on the same page. Since we didn't do it in the last class, some people may not have gotten it. So let's just take a little check-in and see how you're doing. So this is the meditation template. Let me know if the screen is sharing properly. We are actually going to read this. So when you open up that file, it says start speaking here. So what we're going to do is we're going to break out into sessions, and then you're going to read what you wrote. So raise your hand if you have something written in every section. Okay, did anyone not do the assignment? Rakesh, I didn't see your hand. Did you not do the assignment, or you're good?
He did not.
You did not do it. Okay. So everybody else, and this is the time you can just go and write. So I want to break up into sessions, and I want you to read what you wrote and then kind of share it with your 5 or 6 people so that we have an idea if you're doing it in a way that's linguistically correct. And Stephanie, explain what linguistically correct is. Why does it matter what present tense or past tense that we put in this worksheet?
There's a term called association or disassociation. So just like I explained with the sports psychologists and the Olympians, they are very associated into the moment. They're not putting themselves outside of themselves. They are visualizing and bringing all of the senses into the experience in the future as if it were happening right now. And that is, I don't know why it works. I don't know how electricity works either, but when I turn the light on, I know that I'm going to get light. So just take my word for it. You want to make sure that it's in present tense. You don't want to say, I will become rich. I am rich. Well, what does rich mean? You want to define that. I see $111,000 in my bank account, right? I hear the phone ring and people are enthusiastically sending me referrals because they've had such fantastic experiences with my past clients. Do you understand the difference between putting that in the future tense versus the right here, right now?
Stephanie, I have a small question.
Okay.
Nidhi. So actually, when you are mentioning that, that we should be saying into the present tense, so like if I'm saying, oh, I'm enjoying this moment and something like that, somehow my brain, it's not happening now. Somehow if I say we know about the timeline and all, you are thinking, oh, it's happening in future. But yes, of course, when you're saying or you're meditating, then you're saying, I'm enjoying, I'm healthy, I'm doing this. And so, how it works, how it can be effective.
If you're having some resistance inside that it's feeling incongruent to you while you're in the future, and there's a part of you that's saying, bullshit, that's never going to happen. One thing you could put in is, I am learning. And I find that I am learning is more powerful than affirmations of, I am strong and wise. I am learning every day how to be stronger and wiser. That is a very different um, statement that can be true. And what we're trying to do is we're installing and we're activating the RAS. So if you say, I am learning how to be healthier and wealthier every day, then your brain is going to be looking for ways to learn how to be healthier and wealthier every day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And does that answer your question, Needy?
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's why the magic question, which is not really my invention. I called it the magic question, but it's originally from Rex Sykes, one of my NLP instructors, and it was basically the process of articulating the RAS system in a way that creates no conflict. So by phrasing it as a question instead of an affirmation, you get no resistance. How can I be smarter? How fun is this going to be? And it bypasses all this negative self-talk of, I'm not good looking, I'm not rich, I'm not successful. Like, that's the sort of inner dialogue we may have had in the past. And the question bypasses that. How can I have fun today? How can I be wealthier? How can I have $100,000 in my account? It bypasses that negative self-talk, which instead of fighting it, we're just going around it. And so, Needy, if we future pace, we want to see and feel these things, and then if you feel resistance, turn it into a question. So if there's a particular phrase that you're getting resistance, let's say I'm walking into a house, on top of a hill that's worth $10 million. If you can't visualize that, or you're getting resistance, like, what would it feel like if I had a house on the hill worth $10 million? So you could just completely bypass it, because we know that if you don't have it now, especially those of you with high integrity, you're like, wait a second, that's not true. Like we don't want that little voice affecting us. But just like the quarterback in my example, if you can see it and feel it and sense it, when you get there, it's not new for you. The house on the hill is a great example. I remember it must have been 10 years ago, 2006, 2007. I drove up the hill. Like, I was like, I want to live there. And I drove up the hill and I found this house that was not even for rent. There might have been a rent sign, but it was a house that their parents had passed away. So there's this house just sitting on the hill. It was the middle of the recession, and it was like, I don't know, $2 or $3 million house on the hill overlooking LA. And in my mind, I was like, I want to live on the hill. Now, I wanted to own the house, which didn't happen right away. But in my visualization, I had said I have a house on the hill overlooking downtown. Like, I had everything that was in my meditation the previous year. This house meted those needs. And it was a situation where the kids had this old house where their parents had died in, and they didn't have a solution for it. So I called the agent and we worked it out. We rehabbed the house. We put new carpet. We put new wallpaper. So we got this house, like this $2 million house, for like $3,000 a month. So it was super cheap, right? And it was exactly what was in my vision. And so it wasn't completely perfect because I didn't own it, but it was still like a couple of years of this fantastic. I was like, oh my God, dude, you got 2 Mercedes in the drive and you're living in a $2 million house? What the hell? How'd you do this? And I'm like, yeah, a little meditation doesn't hurt. So it can happen in a way, and the more specific you are, the more it will occur. And so what we're doing with the 6-minute meditation, which by the way won't be 6 minutes, it may be 7, it may be 8, but I encourage you to keep it as short as possible. How many of you were able to do 21 days consistent meditation every day? Like every day, you didn't miss a day? Awesome. Half of you. This is amazing, right? So if we make it 13 or 20 minutes, that becomes very difficult. Like there's going to be days you're going to miss. But if you can make it 6 or 7 or 3 minutes, you'll do it every day. And over the last 15 years, I've done it once a month, twice a month, or 3 times a week. Like you're going to get it in, but it may not be every day. So we're trying to make it simple and digestible in small bites so that you can completely affirm yourself. And so that's what we're doing, and that's our target for the last class, which is next week, is to make sure that your meditation in your own voice is as congruent as possible. And if you'll read this every day for the next 7 days, you'll start to make little edits, and then it'll feel like your voice, because it can't be my voice and it can't be Stephanie's voice. It's be your, like, the way that you would say it in your particular language. And all of you speak perfect English here, so you can do it in English. But even if you did it in another language, it would have to be congruent. So that's what we're looking for. And then the other final thing is before the last class, we want you to sit and record this in your own voice. You don't have to have a great recorder. It would be great if you didn't have background noise. That would be distracting if the dogs were barking next door. But the thing that we noticed when we did this live, we did a retreat in Costa Rica, is a lot of people don't like their own voice, and they're self-conscious about recording their own voice. And if it's in your own voice, it is very powerful, because that is the voice you hear when you talk shit to yourself. And so that's the voice that you want to have, empowering, not criticizing. And so if you do this every day for 7 or 10 days and you get it in a right cadence, then when you actually record it, it'll feel very powerful. So when you record it, I would suggest that you stand, you get yourself in a great state of mind, and you read it, section by section in a powerful voice. But if you're depressed that day, don't read it. It's not going to help you. Pooja, do you have something to share about how you record this in your own voice, and what did you do when you first learned this process?
Yeah, I completely agree with the part that you have to be in a great mood to do this recording. Of course, there are a lot of recordings that I do for meditations are those hypnotic meditations. It's in the rhythm. So I have to be very comfortable, have my green tea in that calm position and that mood, so that I myself am sleepy when I'm doing it, because my whole aim is to put them off to sleep. These are those sleep meditations. But when we do these powerful meditations, it's not even meditations. I'll call it as a word, as Tony Robbins says, as incantations. That's what you do. You tell yourself powerfully, you command yourself that you're going to do that. That's a command that you're giving to yourself, because you have done it all, as Bart correctly said. You have told all these things to yourself. And I will reflect back to a book that Bart suggested, was Tame Your Gremlin. And listening or reading to that book, I realized that there was this noise, there was this voice behind me. And we could actually find out that was not even my voice. That was my mom's voice. Every time I was listening to it, every time I was talking negative to me, to myself, that was my mom's voice. And that was an aha moment, because after that, I could gather enough courage to record that first 6-minute meditation in that Prism Life Design program that I did. Otherwise, I thought that if I will do it, I myself, how can I say good things to myself? So that disassociated, as Steph rightly said, association and disassociation really matters a lot. How you associate your voice, it's already, if it's in a bad mood, always in a bad frame of mind, then it'll be difficult for you to initially catch up in the same state, because that's the stage that you talk negative to yourself. So maybe do a power pose, stand straight, look at yourself. Maybe if you want, put a little makeup on so that you feel good about yourself, or maybe get a massage done, or maybe I'll go back to Vesta's hair again. Get the day you have a good hair day. That's the day you should be recording your meditations, because we feel good when we have good hair day. Am I right, Steph? I think that's my anchor. When I have a good hair day, I'll record the meditation. When I'm commanding myself and I can feel good, I feel good. Maybe listen to those music. That's very, very important, guys, because that's what you want to listen to early morning. Now, you also have to see, when do you prefer listening to these meditations? Do you prefer in the morning? And how would you like to get up in the morning? Very sleepy and nice, soft, or you want someone like, come on, let's go, let's get up, happy. Or you're listening in the night before sleeping. Maybe that time you might like to be a little softer so that you can sleep with those thoughts, and those 12 hours or 10 hours sleep that you're getting is already programming in your head, if that makes sense. But
It does. So what I want to do now is I want to do some breakout rooms, and I want you to go through your meditation, and I want you to read word for word what you've written down. And I'm going to hit the breakout room, although Pooja and I are stuck in the main room, so it may take a second to get to your room. So if you were not there, go ahead and just start and open up your PDF document to where it says your voice start speaking here. So everybody take a second, find your document, whether it's written in handwriting or it's on your computer, and then we're going to have you start reading it, and read it with the cadence that you would read it into your voice, because the idea is to get this in the language that you feel most comfortable with. And there is no wrong answer, but we will, like if you say try or if or maybe, obviously we're going to help kind of coach you through that. So anybody have any questions before we jump off into the breakout rooms? Because that's our assignment. And then next week will be our wrap up week. And we want to make sure that you have all 30 days finished in your workbook, and you have a meditation that you're proud of and that you can continue this work way beyond this class. Hi,
Bart,
Shalini, go ahead.
Is there any software that you would suggest for recording, or just record it on the mobile?
I would say progress over perfection. At this point, just begin. I've recorded mine 25 times, and it just started on my mobile phone, and now it's gotten to a professional level. But don't overcomplicate things. It's just too easy to do. Just get it down, listen to it. Okay, I stumbled on that one, or I didn't like my, so it's layers. But right now, just press record.
Okay.
Just a small recorder. This is an app that you will find that's simple. In fact, all the professionals also use this app. It's called as a recorder. Maybe you can download that. I'll put in the link on the chat box. That will cut off the noise and the background noise. And then maybe you can use a movie maker or anything else if you really want to put some music behind. That's another level going up. Maybe another 2 meditations when you will record, you can do that. That's rightly said.
Yeah, if you have the $50 a month Adobe suite, there's a software called Adobe Audition, and that is a professional recording device, and that's how we layered the music. So if you listen to the meditations that we uploaded for you, we had the audio track, and then what I do, this is a great tip for you guys, as you're recording it, if you make an error, don't stop, just clap and start over again. And then as you look through the timeline, you'll see the big clap. It'll be a big spike, and you can just edit. And so just move through it. Like all the audiobooks, like literally I just keep recording, I clap, and I start the sentence over again. And when you go back to edit, you just cut those out. It's very, very simple. And so I know you guys aren't making audiobooks, but it makes it very simple for you. And then you get a very good congruent audio. And if you want to add music, you can always do that later. But more importantly, we're just getting this 6-7 minute future pacing so that you can be excited about it. And like I said, Steph and I have been doing this for years. So you want to do this every few months. And if there's something about it that you're not proud of, you're like, yeah, that didn't feel right. I don't really want a house in the lake. I want a house on the beach. Okay. Redo it. You know what I mean? Like at some point you may go, oh, that doesn't feel right anymore. And so that's why we provided it to you, not only in a PDF file, but a Microsoft Word file. So not only we wanted you to handwrite it this week, but eventually you want to type it. And here's the challenge. If you type it, it feels real, like it's unchangeable. If you handwrite it, sometimes it's easy to change. So don't get stuck in the fact that it's typewritten and you have to stick with it. Like it's completely your vision. So feel free to edit, delete, move it around, etc., etc. I hate when people say etc. I want to kill them. It's etc. ETC, etc. Morons. People don't speak English.